We've been talking about the blind man in John 9. The disciples wanted to know whose fault his condition was. But Jesus saw a man in whose life God would do a great work, and his life would become a testimony to God's power. And we talked about how Jesus started him with, a mud pie in his eye. But the man went and washed, and he could see. And as he came back, there were people that looked at him and said, is that the man that was born blind? Is that somebody else? And the first thing I'd want you to know from that is when you decide to follow Jesus, things change. You change. People will wonder, is that the same guy we used to know or just looked like him? And of course, they called him before the Pharisees, and his own parents denounced him. The religious leaders that should have supported him, his family that should have supported him. And they did not. His parents basically left him to fend for himself. And a couple of things in the dialogue between the Pharisees and this once blind man that I really want to hang on to, and I want you to think about. One is, at one point he even says, why do you keep asking, do you want to be his disciples too? I love a sarcastic response. But one time they keep pressing him, and finally he says this, I don't know everything, but I do know this. One thing I know. I was blind, but now I see. And I want to remind you to find the one thing you know. And the one thing I take from this story always is Jesus was right. God did a great work in that man's life. We're still talking about it. But the other thing happened after the Pharisees threw him out. And when they threw him out, Jesus found him. And Jesus said to him, do you believe? The man said, well, tell me who it is I'm to believe in. And Jesus said, it's me. Because you see, the blind man had never seen Jesus, healed by Jesus when he was still blind. And when he saw him and knew who he was, he worshiped him. That's my one takeaway. Is yes, I was blind, now I see. I was lost, now I'm found. I was dead, now I'm alive. But the thing I always hang on to, when things get tough and you think there is nobody to support you, Jesus is there. He always is there. He doesn't have to show up. He is there already in your life. And he will be there when everybody else rejects you. So no matter how hard things get during this time, cling to that and remember that I believe and Jesus believes that God is doing great work in your life.